So tell us about YouTube. How do you find yourself in this space in your career?
It's weird. I'm suddenly a suit, which is very alarming sometimes to be on the other side of the table. It's funny because in the first couple of weeks here, you know, I'm the lead programmer or the lead creative executive for Cinefix, even though I do direct Trailer Hitch and I do direct Badass Digest, which is more instinctive a thing for me to go out and make the shows and edit the shows than it is for me to preside in an executive position, even though that's my role. I've never been in more meetings in my life. You know, that's a lot. There's a lot of, you know, here's the funny thing. Here's the thing that I think is very interesting. Every meeting I ever went to where I pitched something, whether it was a film idea or a television idea, you know, I probably spent the whole week at least prepping for this meeting. And you go in there and you care so much, and you're sitting there with these people on the other side of the desk and you're pitching your thing. And then, you know, the odds are that 9 times out of 10, you know, no one says, hey, you got a deal. I mean, that never, I mean, I think once in my entire career, once or twice in my entire career did I actually pitch something that actually got, like, picked up. And I was saying this to my wife, I wonder, I wish I had calculated, I wish I had the nerve to write down every meeting I've ever been to as a filmmaker going in to try to get something done, because it's probably millions of them. And so the percentage is crazy. You know, you're always, there's so many things that go nowhere. All right, so the point is now I'm on the other side, just for this year, and people are coming in to pitch their stuff, and now I'm suddenly one of these jerk-offs on the other side of the table, you know, listening. And what I realize is that all those times that I pitched something that it didn't get picked up, and I took it personally, where I was like, oh, they don't like me, or my idea is not good enough, or I suck, or whatever. It's like it's the most impersonal thing in the world, because an executive has got so much crap. That's all they do is go to meetings all day long. There's so many things that they're dealing with that what you consider the most important part of the day, which is you pitching this thing, is like a blip to the executive. So unless what you're offering is exactly this, it's like every production company or every studio has like a couple of like puzzle pieces that, it's very specific shaped puzzle pieces that they're looking to fit. And if what you're pitching doesn't fit exactly this and tick those buttons, it's a no. It's going to be a no every time. And I always was like, oh God, I mean, I'm so depressed. And it's not that at all. It's just that I suddenly am able to see that, number one, executives don't really care about your dreams and your hopes and how important the idea is to you. All they care about is whether or not what you're selling fits exactly whatever their little thing is that they're trying to do. And maybe they don't even know what that is. And I found myself in the first few weeks, and I still do it, trying to tell to the people who are pitching that I'm not one of these guys. Like, I'm you. You know, like, and it's very hard to do in a meeting to say, well, you know, you might think I'm this suit, but I'm actually more you than I am this thing that you think I am. And I am so deathly afraid of people perceiving me as this, you know,
part of the establishment.
Yeah, yeah. But it is it is like two separate, it's just two different universes operating on the executive side. And to a certain degree, I understand why so little gets done, really, because there's a lot of weighing of, is this worth doing, and is this going to yield this result, and is this going to, how is this going to impact the brand of the company, and all this like hesitation because there's so much money at stake. Whereas when you're a creative person, all you're interested in doing is birthing this idea. And that's what feeds the creative person. What feeds the executive is that their job is secure and that they don't make a bonehead decision that gets them fired, and that whatever they put their name on is successful in financial terms. Whereas a creative person, sure, they want to be rich and famous and all that shit, you know. But for the most part, it's always about, is this idea going to be created in a way that satisfies me as an artist, you know? And or at least that's how I think about it. And so it's like wearing these two different hats. It's like being Jekyll and Hyde or something. It's like this weird, very strange thing to do, you know.
The Hobbit people versus.
I don't know. Yeah, it's given me an insight into it's sort of like someone, like, it's like behind the curtain, you know, like I never would have known I always knew how it worked, but I never really stepped in the shoes of an executive, nor did I really want to. And I think part of it has to do with me not wanting to be that executive that I wanted to assassinate, you know. And there's more of those than there are the kindly, you know, empathetic, interesting executives. So if I'm going to be one of those, I would prefer to be the latter, just so that, you know, I'm, you know, well thought of during this process, you know. But it's a very unique position to be in.